Hello guys, welcome back to my another video on Linux and networking. So through this video I'll try to explain the another concept, port forwarding. Few days back when I was learning Docker, I came across with this term. Then I thought that I should make a video on this, that okay, how the port forwarding works behind the scene, and what is basically a port forwarding. Because normally in Docker environment you just expose a port and all the magic happens automatically for you. You don't have to do anything. But through this video I'll try to explain how you can also do port forwarding through some basic commands. So here is an example of an ABC company. So the company has a private LAN network, so where there are machines which are running on 10.0.60.0 subnet, and all the machines in this subnet can connect with each other, but they cannot be accessed outside. But we have one machine in this company's network, which is, we call it public machine, where this machine is also exposed to outside. That means this machine can be accessed from the outside company's network. Moreover, this machine can also connect to our private LAN. Yeah. So now the one question here is that okay, if there is a website which is running, or an application which is running on our private LAN, right? For example, on 10.0.60.2 machine on port 80, how will the client be able to access that website, since the client is not able to access the machine which is on private LAN? Yeah. So how is it possible? And that's where there are many approaches to solve this problem, but today we will learn about port forwarding. So that's where basically port forwarding comes for us to rescue us. So in port forwarding, what we do, so we ask public machine that okay, when you will receive a traffic from all other machines outside our network on port 80, just forward that traffic to our private LAN machine. So in this way, when the client will access our website, yeah, so through our public machine, its request will be forwarded to the private machines on port 80. So client is not able to access our machine, but it can access our application. So that's all about port forwarding, and let's now directly jump into the real working example. Yeah, so here I have created three virtual machines to mimic the problem which I showed you in the slides. So I have one private machine, public machine, and a client machine. So let me show you the network interface cards of those machines. So for the private machines, I have one network interface card, so which we will use to connect it to the private LAN. And then we have public machine. Public machine has two network interface card. One is for the private LAN, another network interface card which will be help this machine to expose itself to the outside world. So here I am connecting this machine to my Wi-Fi router so that it can be accessed by all other machines which are connected to my Wi-Fi router. Then I have a client. So client has a only one network interface card, so it is connected to a Wi-Fi router. So if you since I have already made these machines for this video just to save the time, but if you don't know how to create this virtual machines through Oracle VM VirtualBox, you guys can look into my video to create those virtual machines. Yeah. Now let's directly jump into the machines. So okay, so now I am on the machines. So let's log in into the machines. So here this is a private machine, this is public machine, and this is client machine, right? So now let me show you the network interface card of the machines. So the private machines, I have two network interface card. One is loopback, which is default. Another one is ENP0S3. Right now this machine does not have any IP. It is not connected to any LAN. So we will use this ENP0S3 to connect it to a private LAN. Okay, let's give this machine an IP. So the command to give a static IP to machine is sudo IP addr at, let's give it an IP of 10.0.60.1 by 24 dev ENP0S3. Yeah? ENP0S3 is the network interface card name here. Yeah? Now this machine is connected to one private LAN which we created, and now let's go to this machine and see. So this machine also has three network interface card. One ENP0S3 we will use for to connect to private LAN. The ENP0S8 is already having an IP of assigned by my Wi-Fi router. So now let's run the same kind of command here, sudo IP addr and 10.0.60.2 by 24 dev ENP0S3. Yeah, my password. Good. So now this machine also get an IP. Yeah, now let me see. So where is this? Okay, now let's try to ping this machine, another private machine from here, 10.0.60.1. so this machine can ping the 10 private machine, right? So somehow this machine lost its IP. Let's run this command again. So now do this ping from this machine, ping dot 10.0.60.2. Yeah. So now this private machine and public machine can connect with each other on private LAN, right? Now let's try to so since, let me check the public IP of this machine, TTR. Yeah, so somehow this machine lost the IP. Let's assign the IP again. Yeah, so and this machine has this IP of R92.168.2.169, right? We will use this to ping 192.168.2.169. So the client can access the public machine. So our connectivity is there, so we don't have any problem there. So I don't know why this is happening. Why this machine is losing the IP. It is somehow overwriting it. Okay, so it's able to ping, but if it loses the IP, then we will run the command again to assign IP. And because this is running and running, so it is somehow overriding the IP assigned by us. Yeah, but we'll fix that, no problem. Now the next thing we have to do is that, okay, we have to run a process on this machine. I think now this is back. Let's run this now. This symbol gone away. Now this machine has both the IPs. Let's check. Okay, so this has one private IP and one public IP. Okay, good. Now to the port forwarding, we have to run a process on private machine, for example on port 80, so that we can access that application from our client machine. There are various ways to do that. Either I can install Apache web server on this machine, but I will not use that. I will just use a simple, I'll just initiate a simple process to mimic that. So there is a command called ncat -l. So I will, this command will initiate a process on this machine on port 80, and then we can connect to this process on port 80 on this machine through telnet. So let's run to 10.0.60.1.80. yeah, so you see, so that means we can connect, the connectivity between these two machines is very good. This ncat and telnet combination is a very good combination. You guys can start using this. I use this to understand the connectivity between two machines. So using this command, you don't need to install the for example Apache web server to know that whether the port 80 can be used or not, yeah, or some other application servers. You just use simply ncat command to check the connectivity between different machines. Yeah. Okay, so let's now run the same command here. Yeah. So now if we will run from this command telnet 2.168.2.169.80, yeah, see, so now this machine is also, but if I close a process and I try to do a telnet, there will be no connection because there is no process running on this machine. So the idea is to connect to this machine, and whenever we will connect to this machine will send all our requests to this private machine. So to achieve that port forwarding, so there are few commands you have to run it. The first command you have to run is to enable the IPv4 packet forwarding on this Ubuntu machines. There is a file called, let me show you first this file, proc/sys net IPv4 then IP_forward. yeah, so you see now, right now it's disabled, so we cannot, whenever the packet will be received on this ENP0S8 public IP, it cannot be forwarded to the private IP. To achieve that, we have to enable this IPv4 forwarding. So let's do that. Okay, we need to make it 1. Okay, I think the file is saved already. Yeah, okay, so now it's enabled. The second thing we need to do is, so I will try to achieve this port forwarding through IP tables. I hope you guys know the IP tables. So IP tables is a firewall which can be used to accept connections or drop connections between different machines in different networks, or forward packets from one machine to another machine. So it is one of the well-known firewall which we use mostly to do these kind of things. So this IP tables firewall can also help us in solving this port forwarding problem. So I will be using this. So let me first show you the IP tables, what if there are any rules in the IP tables right now. So there is no rule in the filter table, so because it is a fresh machine, but it could be possible on the machine which you are working, there are some rules, and you have to play with those rules to. In the same way, for the NAT tables also there are no rules, right? So that's good for us. I made it empty because I want to make it as simple as possible so that we can just concentrate on port forwarding. So first command I will be using is IP tables -t nat minus a pre-routing. So we will be adding a rule in pre-routing uh, channel, pre-routing channel minus j jump means jump to dnat minus p when the protocol is TCP minus t port when the port is 80 minus to destination nation 10.0.60.1 colon 80. So let me explain you a bit about this command. So in this command I am adding a rule in the NAT table in the pre-routing channel, that okay, when the protocol is TCP and destination port is 80, then just jump to the destination network address translation and forward this to this destination machine 10.0.60.1 colon 80, which is our private machine. Now so this is done. So the second command we have to do is we have to add a masquerade. You can learn about this on internet. What is masquerade? Basically here we are converting or IPs when the packets we are forwarding from one network interface card to another. So we will be adding this in post routing. Post routing in the same in the NAT table, post routing minus j jump to masquerade. Masquerade, yeah. Okay, good. Now let me show you the table minus t nat minus list, yeah. So now we can see that we added two rules in this table, one in the post routing phase and another one in the pre-routing phase, yeah. Then we have to add a rule in this filter table, sudo IP tables filter tables minus for the forward chain. For the forward chains we have to say minus m when the state, we will check whether what kind of state of what is state of connection. State is related or established. State is related or established, then jump to accept. That means accept the packet, yeah. Okay, good. So all the rules are done. Let me show you this filter table now. To IP tables minus list. If we don't provide minus t in the table name, then it is all automatically a filter table. So you can see there is a rule in the forward chain, yeah. Good, then I think we are done here. Now let's try to connect, yeah. So now let's initiate a process here, and now here we have client. Let's open the client, yeah. But before running, so let me show you that okay, in this machine, in the public machine, we don't have any process running on 80 port. To check that, minus nlp, nl is number, l is listening, on grep colon 80, yeah. So there is no, yeah, there is no port on port, there is no process on port 80 on this machine, yeah. But on this machine we know that there is a process on port 80, yeah. So now what we do, we will just do a telnet, yeah. See, we are sending a telnet request to 192.168.2.169.80 port, although there is no port on this public machine, but still it accepted our connection, and when we send it data, it will be received by private machine. So the public machine is accepting a connection, accepting packets, and it is just forwarding it directly to our private machine. So that's what port forwarding is. So we are forwarding with the help of public machine, which is exposed outside also, and it has connection to private LAN also. We can access an application running on private machine through a particular port. I hope I was able to explain this very well, and if you have any questions, then please ask, write it in a comment, then I will try to answer those questions. Yeah, if you have questions about IP tables, I think you have to learn. I will also make a video on IP tables very soon, and but you can learn it through on by googling. And if you have questions about virtual machines, then you can follow my video to create a virtual machine. Yeah, so that's all guys. Thank you very much for your time, and goodbye.